Hi and welcome to the Hidden Div. In today's video I'm going to show you how to add a footer to your website. So to begin with, we want to go to the hello link on the left hand side of your WordPress dashboard and select Theme Builder. So in here you want to click Add New in the top right and select Footer. Here you'll be shown a few different templates that you can select from. We can just close this off as we'll be adding our own. And what we'll do is at the bottom of the page here, select the plus icon and then select Flexbox and select the first option. So at this point what we'll do is we'll add a little bit of styling to this. So we'll go to the style tab and we'll select classic for color on the background, and then we're going to go to the color box, and because we've set some global colors now, we can select the little icon here, the little globe icon, and at the bottom you can see the dark grey that I've added on other areas of the site, and select that. We'll then go back to the layout section and we are going to select the width to 1400 pixels, as that's the container that I added on other parts of the website, just to keep everything uniform. We're then going to go through to the advanced tab and I'm going to add some padding. So what I'm going to do is add 100 pixels to the whole padding here. I've added 100 pixels to the left and right because we've done this on previous videos, so that when it's viewed on laptop, for example, it doesn't quite sit full width. It just gives you a little bit of padding on the side, and for the top and bottom it's just to give it a bit of space. So we'll leave that for now for desktop, but we'll make adjustments for the tablet view, which what we'll do is we'll set the top as 50 and the same for the sides, and on mobile I'm going to do the same, except I'm going to reduce the sides to 20. So we'll go back to the desktop version now, and for the footer we're just going to do a bit of a straightforward one for this purpose. We'll firstly add our site logo, which you can actually add this to your website and to WordPress and then actually just pull your site logo in, but I'm just going to do this as an image as I've not set that up yet. If we select the advanced tab, we'll reduce the size, we'll select that to custom, and we'll just do this as 150 pixels. I might increase that a little bit, but we'll load the image in first and see how it's looking. Yeah, that's not actually too bad. So if we go back to the container, we can actually now select layout and center this off just to make it look a bit nicer. And like the other videos I've done, I'll also go to the advanced section and add a little bit of a border to this image just so it looks a bit nicer. So I'll add a border width of 2, make sure your border type set is solid as well, add a white color, and we'll just add 250 pixels border radius to make it a circle. So then below this you've got a few different options. You can put contact details, you can put social media links, you can put links to other pages on your website. All of these are usually kind of included in a footer, but ultimately it's up to you what you want to put down here. It can have as much or as little information as you want, depending on the type of website that you have. Things like e-commerce websites tend to have more, but a general information based website will probably have a little bit less than that. I'll just keep this one straightforward for the purpose of this video. So what I'll do is select a WordPress menu, and I will remove the pointer from this to keep it nice and straightforward. I will also remove the break point, as we don't want that. And we will go through, set the text color to white with a little bit of transparency, a little bit less than that. And then we'll select the hover effect and select that as white, just to add that little hover effect to the text. Then that's pretty much straightforward for that part. And what we'll do below this is we'll just add a little contact email for this. Quite an easy way to do this is to actually use an icon list. So you can add an icon list in, and what you can do is, I'm just going to do an email, so I'm just going to do 1, but you could do 2, for example, and have like an email and a telephone number, or even add an address in, for example, as well. But this just gives a little bit of a nice little layout, and it's quite easy to put to add in without doing a bit more manual work. So what we'll do is I'll remove these two, and I'll select this and choose a new icon. If I type in envelope, we can select from one of these icons. I'll select the first one as it looks quite nice and clean. You can then select the style tab, and you have a bit of options for different things for the icon and the text. So we're going to make the icon white, and I'm just going to do the same thing for the text as well. And then what I'll do is I'll go back to the content, and we'll actually rename this as well. So I'll put hello at hiddendiv.co.uk because that's my email address. And what you can actually do in the link below this is add a link so that when someone clicks that, it automatically opens an email. So if you have Outlook on your computer, or whether it's Apple Mail on your iPhone, when you click this, it will open up an email and automatically put this address in their sendbox so that you can send them an email. So what you'll do is type in mail to, all as one word, followed by a colon, and then add the email address. And what that does, that means once you click this, that's going to open up an email with this email address in it. So now that we've got that, we can also mess around with the spacing a little bit. If we go to the container, we can first of all just remove the gap, so we can do this manually. I think the logo, I'll go to the menu, and we'll add, say, 30 pixels above that. We'll then also add maybe 10 below, or 20, because what I'll do is I'll actually add a heading in. So let's add a heading, and we'll just put get in touch as a little bit of a heading for the email address. And we'll also put this as white, and we'll just put that as a paragraph text for now. Select style and go back to typography. I'm going to put this as 20 pixels, make it slightly bigger, maybe 26. And then we will go with Poppins as the typography to match the rest of the site, and put this as bold. And then I'll put a little bit of spacing at the bottom because this is quite, it's all quite crammed at the moment. So we've got a little bit of design going on there. And below this, I'll actually look to add in some social icons as well. And with these, we will change Twitter to Instagram. And for Facebook, we'll actually change this to a different Facebook icon. So select all icons, and you can see the alternative Facebook logo there. And what we will then do is go to Style and go to Custom Colors. Primary color, select that as white, reduce the opacity a bit. We can then mess around with the icon size a little bit. We'll make these quite small, they don't need to be particularly big. Give them a bit more padding. And then we will also just give them a bit of space above as well so that they don't sit too close. With these as well, I will make them a little bit larger, I think, just because they're a little bit too small there. That's probably quite a good amount. Maybe just the pattern just ever so slightly. And I think that'll probably work quite nice, just to keep them quite small and subtle. Yeah. And then what you can do is, if you click back into content, you can actually add your social links for each of these for whatever there is. You can add a few different ones for whatever your we've got a WordPress one there and everything, but you can add whatever you want to this. And like I say, you can add the links in. One thing that's quite useful for this, so you probably don't want them to navigate away from your website. So what you can do is when you click the link, there's a little cog next to it. If you select that, and you can have open a new window, because this is a social link, it's ticked by default, but not all things will have that. A list item, for example, wouldn't have that clicked by default, so you have to make sure to go in and do that if you wanted to open up a new tab. If you're doing something like an email, so for this email, for example, you don't need that to open up in a new tab. That's fine, because it would be the same if you did a phone call. You wouldn't need that to open up a new tab, because it just opens up something separate anyways. This wouldn't navigate you away from the website. However, if you wanted to do, let's say for example, an address, and this was linked to Google Maps on like an actual Google web page, you might want to then open that in a new link, if that makes sense. But yeah, so that's now all set up. We can now look and view it in the tablet viewport, see what it looks like. That all looks fine. And then we're going out to desktop as well. This is left aligned at the moment, which doesn't quite look right. So what we can do is actually center align that. Oh, I'm going to have to do it the content actually. There we go, center align that. And now these are all centered aligned, so it looks a bit neater. So yeah, I can then click publish and then add condition and click include entire site and then save. So now when we go through the front end of our website, so if I just copy that address, you can now see both the header and the footer are both in place. This center part is just because I've not added a home page yet, but once the home page is created, these will automatically be added to the site. So thanks for watching.